Broadcasting from Watts Creative Studios and live on Grove Street FM. You're listening to Talk Local to Me, brought to you by the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Talk Local to Me. I saw you check your watches. It's afternoon, technically.
Oh, I had a text
by
minute.
1 minute.
It is by 1 minute.
So yeah, thanks for joining us today. I'm Heather Alto with the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
And I'm Mike Norfield with Visiting Angels of Lynchburg.
And we are here to talk to you about all sorts of local things. We have a guest on today, and we're really excited for that. But then don't tune out the second half of the show, because the second half of the show, we're also going to be talking to ourselves each other,
and Dr. Woody.
And Dr. Woody over here.
Now they're definitely tuning out. They heard that.
Right. Yeah. So it's been a while since we've chatted, just kind of about in general ourselves, letting you guys kind of know who we are and why we're here doing this show. And Media Squatch has done so many new things in the last
It doesn't even
week.
look like the same studio.
I mean, it's just been a week and it's like new. So
Yep.
we kind of want to catch up with Woody on all the great things that he's doing here with Media Squatch, and, you know, how appreciative we are to be able to podcast live from here. And, you know, we've been doing this now, 3 years?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Almost.
Over 3.
And it's still not catered every week.
That's year 4. That's,
I know.
That's year 4?
I need to find out how that
So
happens. I mean,
I'm-
I do now get water every time.
I'm
I
going to
get
download
that.
this episode and save it in my phone. And, year 4, I'm going to be like, Woody,
Yeah, year 4. I think,
where's the Chick-fil-A?
that's actually a really good goal, because y'all are the lunchtime staple
Yeah.
show.
Exactly.
Like, so I agree.
Which
Well, yeah,
reminds
let
me,
work
though,
on that.
we haven't done a food episode in a while. We need to do one of those soon.
I've never been on as a host and done a food episode.
Never.
Never. Every time
Okay,
you
now
do
we
it,
have
it's a
to
week
make
after
it
here.
happen.
Yep.
So, okay, my local restaurants and local members that do food or cakes or cookies or snacks, we're going to need to do a food episode where, you know, you guys donate some food. We get to eat it on the air and talk about how awesome it is. And that's always a lot of fun. I'm always stuffed by the end of the show. Half the time I'm talking, I'm like, because I got, food in my mouth.
Right.
But, it is what it is. So, we've got some things coming up in the next month and a half. I'll just quickly share before we go in with our first guest. If you're a local business owner and you are looking to network in our area, definitely check out. We have 2 coffee talks coming up in the next week and a half. So this Friday, we are at Hickey Heating, Electric, and Plumbing in Amherst on Friday from 8 to 10. And again, I like to tell people this is rolling, so don't feel like you have to be there for the whole 2 hours. You can show up anytime between 8 and 10 o'clock and bring your business cards. Just bring yourself, network, talk to people, make some connections, because connections are key. And I'll probably chat a little about that in the second half of the show. But then we also have a coffee talk in Appomattox next Tuesday at 9 o'clock from 9 to 10:30 at the Appomattox Inn and Suites. So it's free.
And that seems like it's really far out, but really it's not.
It's really not.
It's not. It's a nice, easy, quick drive at 460, and
Yep.
And it's a great place to have a meeting. And
yeah, it really
good coffee.
is. Really good coffee, nice setting. You get to meet some new people. If you're in Lynchburg and you're networking, come on out, come to the outskirts and meet some new business owners, because you never know where connections will happen at. And again, these are free, whether you're a member of the CVABC or not. We want you to come out and network with us. I'll be honest with you guys, the last month or two, just seeing some of these small businesses that have been closing their doors or having to cut back on things, it's really kind of heartbreaking. And a lot of it, I tell people, a lot of people are like, well, I didn't even know that business was around. And because, you've got to get out there. And so that's important. So coming out, networking. And I say this too, we are a band like no other of members who support each other and will, do their best to kind of support and push you. So yeah, make sure you're attending the coffee talks. And then Centerfest is coming up September 21st, quicker than I would like it to come, because that's really quick. And so vendor space is still open through technically Friday, but I get until Monday. So if you still want to get your vendor booth spot, you have to have it signed in by Monday of next week. which is the 26th. And we have to do that because we get so many vendors and it takes a while to make sure we have them mapped out, their spaces. We have to send all their information to them and get everything done on our end. So we can't just, put you in at the last minute because those spaces are just not available. Most of the time we sell out of space. So if you haven't gotten your vendor spot, you need to do so now. Or if you think you may have gotten and you're not sure, contact us and make sure you've gotten your vendor space because, if you call us and say, hey, I thought I did it, it may be too late.
Right.
So I want to make sure you get it in. And then secondly, because I've already said more than two things, but lastly, we're putting out the information this week about our community giving fair. It is our 5th annual, which seems crazy to me that we've been doing this now for 5 years.
Right.
It is our nonprofit vendor expo. This year we're hosting it the last Friday. It's kind of our coffee talk, part of like one of our coffee talks for September. And it's going to be at the Hilton Garden Inn. And it is a free vendor showcase for our nonprofit members, nonprofits that are not a member of the CVABC. We are charging a $25 fee this year.
Yep.
But if you're a member, you get your table and it runs from 8 to noon. And it's a great opportunity for business owners and the community to come out and just learn more about our local nonprofits. We have so many in our area and so many of them need your support in so many different ways, whether it's monetarily, volunteering, whether it's tangible items that they, need for their nonprofit or the people that they serve. And we give those opportunities for you to come out and learn about that. You can even bring things like perishable food items. We've had people that have brought stuff for like, sanitary stuff for women, clothing. So we'll take those donations and distribute them out to any of the nonprofits that are there that can use them. So it's a lot of, I think it's a lot of fun. It's one of the more, I want to say satisfying events we do all year just because I love learning about the different nonprofits in our area and how
there's a lot of them.
You can help them.
And they do a lot of different things.
Man, there are so many in our area that do so many wonderful things.
And what I think is great is the CVABC has a special membership price for nonprofits, so they can join for just $99.
That's for a whole year. That's not
for
a month.
Whole year.
That's not a month. It's a whole year.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but if they pay $25 to come, if they're not a member and they pay $25 to come to the nonprofit fair,
that's correct.
They can apply. That $25 will actually come off their membership.
That's correct.
If you want a way to kind of sample and see how this is for a CVABC event and you work with a nonprofit, $25 and you get in. And then if you decide you do want to be a member, it's just another $74. And
that's right.
You've got a membership for a whole year. And
don't forget, you may forget because you probably don't know who I'm talking about right now, but with your membership, you get so many perks. You get to come on the show here. Yeah. You get digital billboard advertising. You get things that, for a nonprofit sometimes are not you can't do that because maybe it's not in your budget. You can't normally just have a billboard or come on a show or get 45% off your advertising for Lynchburg Living or things like that. That being a member, we can kind of help you save some money in your budget.
Plus, you get a whole community of people who work in business and business owners that,
Facts.
That if they aren't able to support your nonprofit, they may be able to point you in the direction of someone who could. So, and at least be able to share things about you. So that's always a good thing.
So speaking of nonprofits, great segue into our guest today. I like how it did that. So we are joined today by Samantha Dawson with Isaiah 117. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm really good today. Today's a good day.
Yeah, it's good.
Can I just real quick? I'm loving the weather right now.
Right.
I was just about to say that.
Can I just say how nice?
Should we talk about weather?
Yeah.
I stopped at my front door today and looked at my watch to see what was the high for today, and almost went back inside to get a hoodie just because I thought I could get away with it, but it's a little bit too warm for that.
Not quite, but we're close.
Not quite, yeah.
Close.
When I go to take the dog out in the morning, I'm like, oh, it is chilly.
Yeah.
I went back in and grab my coffee. But yeah, I'm loving this weather right now. So if it could stay like this through Centerfest, can I just have this? This would be fabulous.
Right.
But yeah, so back to not the weather. So I'm really excited to have you guys on. You guys are doing some great things in our community, and I think a lot of people know about Isaiah 117, but I think there are a lot of people that don't know about Isaiah 117. And so I really wanted to kind of touch base first on just what, the nonprofit is all about, what you guys do.
Absolutely. So at Isaiah 117 House, our mission is changing the way foster care begins. So our founder, her name is Rhonda Paulson, and the big need that she saw is when she became a foster parent in the state of Tennessee. That's where Isaiah House started, is she was doing her training, and they mentioned in the training, they're sitting in this social services building, which, you know, is just a conference room, cubicles, that type of thing. And the guy leading their training said that when children are removed from their homes by Child Protective Services, this is where they come. Like, this is the building. And so she just saw this need of, this is not where kids should have to come.
Mhm.
You know, what can we do to provide a more cozy, kid-friendly environment for them? So that's what Isaiah House came out of. And so what it is we're a literal house that kids get to come to on the day they're removed from their homes. So we will get a call from social services, and we head to the house, get everything ready, and we just are there to love on them for however long it might be. It could be a few hours, it could be a few days, and they get to just be cozy, experience a house with a living room. We have showers and beds and just all these things that they can just be at, a place that they can be at instead of an office.
And a lot of times when they're pulled from a home, they don't really get to take anything with them either. So, so my mom loves you guys.
Yeah.
She's probably listening to this podcast going, "They're so wonderful," like over and over again. I get a weekly update of what you guys are doing
love
because
that.
she tells me we went
She's
over
so
there and we
sweet.
took stuff. We took a tour today. She's
Yep.
so excited. She tells everybody she knows. But she told us that you have like totes with different size clothes in it, so that they have clothes, they have toys that they can pick from, things like that. So you really try to give them like, I know this is a scary time, but let's get you in some comfortable clothes. Let's
Exactly.
if they left without a jacket or something, like things like that. So it's great, and not just that, but also like having a toy that they can play with, and it's like theirs.
Yes.
Right. So you don't realize the psychological difference that makes. That if they're being pulled from a home and they don't have anything they're familiar with, and then they're given something, and it's like, this is yours. You
It's
keep it.
theirs, and they can take it
Right,
with them.
right.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we've got this beautiful room upstairs in our house, and we call it the giving room. And that's where it's just bins and bins of clothes and toiletries, shoes, anything that they may need. So we'll pack a bag with about 3 to 5 days worth of those items for them. And part of that is also to equip whatever family they're going to, whether that's a foster family or a relative of theirs who may not have anything ready to take in, these children. So we're sending them with some wiggle room so they don't have to make that last minute run to Walmart, that day. They can come with a few days worth of things and then, kind of tackle what else they may need after that.
I know having a space like this is really important. We've had on the show before, like United Methodist Family Services and, some of those foster parent agencies that have told us, at times when they take a kid out of their home and they're looking for a placement, that sometimes there isn't anywhere for them to go in certain areas. And like they've talked about how they've had some kids that have had to sleep like on the deck, like in their office spaces,
Right, exactly.
or just in, wherever they can kind of put them until they can find that placement or for somewhere. So I feel like this kind of fills that need and that gap for those kids, instead of just being, it's got to be scary enough you're leaving your home.
Exactly.
And then to be like, oh, well, I'm just sleeping, on a floor over here
on a table, yeah.
But going somewhere that's more like warm and friendly has got to be, like Mike was saying, much better for their mental health.
Right.
And
It makes them
stuff,
feel
yeah.
safe.
Yeah, and that's one of our big. So our mission's kind of threefold. One being reducing trauma for those kiddos, but we also know that the caseworkers are walking in having just experienced, maybe not everything that child has experienced, but they have
A bad
removed that
situation.
child, and
Right.
they're dealing with their own, trauma from that, and just a long day. And so one of our mission statements is also lightening their load. So when they come into the Isaiah House, they are also, we call them our guests as well, just like the kids. So how can we help them? Can we feed them? Can we give them coffee? All of the above, just to make their job a little bit easier that day as well. And we have an office space in the Isaiah House that they can use if they just need to make some phone calls, get some paperwork done, or even just to step away and just breathe for a minute while we're spending time with the kids. So
Right.
that's another really big one for us, is how can we love on them too?
It's got to reduce their stress levels so much more, knowing that because it's a terrible situation when you have to pull somebody from their home, but when they do that, they know they're going to a safe and warm place. They're not going to, have to have them at the office and try to figure out
Right.
where am I going to put them. Like they've got a place for them to go, and it just takes that's a lot of the pressure off of the social workers and things to have to figure that out because there's already a plan in place.
Yes.
Right.
They know exactly where they
It's a
can come.
plan that they don't do well because I know it takes a lot of work to get everything ready and set up and be able to take these children in. So it takes that load off of them completely to where they hand it off to you and they know that they can trust you with the kids and they're going to be taken care of. And it's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. And they can focus fully on finding the best placement.
Right.
Because we've asked them before when we've had, especially like a large sibling group, you're talking 7, 8
Right.
kids. Like, what do you do at the office with
Right.
this many kids? You're also trying to make phone calls and do paperwork. And so they're juggling all these things. Whereas now it's like, you guys can fully focus on finding this placement and we'll do dinner, we'll do baths, whatever we need to do so they
Right.
can really just find the best possible place for those kids to go.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I know y'all have an event coming up this weekend, but
Do.
before we jump into that, I wanted to ask, because I think a lot of people, when they think Isaiah 117, they think about the lemonade stands.
Yes.
So I wanted to kind of ask about those before we kind of got into your upcoming event, and kind of like, what kind of started those, or, how people can get involved with that.
Definitely. So yeah, every summer, if someone doesn't know, Isaiah houses all around the country. So we're actually in 12 states right now. Isaiah houses are.
I had no idea.
I wouldn't be able to name them all, but they are on our website. So in Tennessee, where they started one summer, basically just kids in the community came together to host lemonade stands to raise money for Isaiah House as it was up and coming. And so after that, and just seeing what an impact that made, that's a yearly fundraiser that every Isaiah House does. So there's always a lemonade stand weekend. So there's a weekend in July that everyone hosts stands, but we also have people who will host them, in May or August. Like it's really flexible. There's just one big weekend that we really focus on, and just anyone in the community can make some lemonade and set up. And as much as it is, helpful for us raising funds, it's also about us just getting to raise awareness and be
Right.
all over Lynchburg and Bedford and just the surrounding areas talking about what we're doing. So I wish I had the numbers in front of me of how much we were able to do this year, but it's really wonderful. Like, I think you'd be surprised at how much lemonade can raise.
Right.
Well, I love yard sales. I go to yard sales like almost every weekend when I can roll myself out of bed. But but it's funny because I'll go to a lot of them, and kids will pop up lemonade stands to make money. But there are quite a few that I go to, and they have a little sign that just says, donations are going to Isaiah 117.
I love that. Yeah.
And I think that's really neat to see the community, like you were saying, just becoming involved, and even parents that are out there teaching their kids the value of helping. And while, yes, it's nice for you to make, some money too, it's nicer to give back, as well. And I think that's been really kind of heartwarming to see when I'm out and about.
Definitely.
And I always end up, buying lots of lemonade
Of course.
throughout the day. I have that, I will say this one story. I had that, I think I've told it before, that I went to this one yard sale where there's like 3 houses in a row that had lemonade. And like one little boy, the first house I went to, he was selling lemonade for like $1. And then the next house, it was like lemonade was like 75 cents. And then the next lemonade, it was 25 cents. And like the person with the 20 was just like rolling. Like people were buying like their lemonade, and the little one, the $1 was just like, he wasn't making as much lemonade.
Mm-hmm.
But, I guess that's what happens. People price gouging, price cutting.
Somebody had a better marketing strategy.
Yeah,
Right.
they walked up and they said, "Yep, I got you."
Right.
So anyway, I thought it was funny. But yeah, I see them popping up all over the place, and I've seen them even at local stores. I think right up for me, Overstreet's Ace Hardware. I think has done it before.
Yep, we have one there.
I've been up there, and seen it. So yeah, that's definitely out there and noticeable when you see them. So
Yeah. Well, I think it's cool to see kids in the community essentially serving other kids.
Right.
Like indirectly, they're helping out their peers who maybe they do know who they go to school with and things like that, but they're just getting to play a part in the lives of other kids. It's just really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about the upcoming. So you've got a bigger event.
We do.
That's coming up this weekend. So tell us a little bit about that.
So we have our first ever disc golf tournament coming up this Friday, August 23rd. So every year, another thing Isaiah houses around the country do is golf tournaments. So in years past, we've done, traditional golf. I don't know if that's quite the right way to phrase it, but your regular golf. But this year, disc golf world championships are in town right now. And we just knew there were a ton of people who love disc golf around here, including some people on our local advisory team.
Yeah.
So we said, let's try it. Let's try disc golf this year. And we're really, really, really pumped about it. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be at Timbrook Park on Friday, starting around 6, and rounds will go anytime from 6 to 9 p.m. start time. So there'll be some daylight rounds. But what I'm really excited for is we're going to have some glow rounds also. So once it gets dark, the glow sticks are going to come out and it's going to be a lot of fun. And
really cool.
there's options for if just an adult wants to play, maybe they're super into disc golf and just want to come play around. Or if someone wants to come and bring their kid, there are doubles rounds. So that way, a parent and a child could play together as
that's
well
fun.
that night. Yeah.
So do you still have like availability for people to sign up right now?
We do.
Okay.
Yep, there are still plenty of spots left. So there's a link. If you go to any of our social media pages, you'll see it on there. It's through Disc Golf Scene. It's a website. So you can also find it on there. There's all sorts of tournaments listed on there, but ours is there as well. So I believe you can really register as long as there are spots anytime until start
Okay.
on Friday. Yep.
Yeah. Disc golf is fun. I say it's fun. I don't know. I've never played it, but I've watched it being played.
Right.
We've done a disc golf tournament in the past. And I still don't. So I'm not good. First of all, it's not Frisbee. Do not call it Frisbee. It is
Right.
not Frisbee.
It's not
Yeah,
Frisbee
You will
golf.
get in trouble. But I'm just going to say, I'm not good at Frisbee, like the actual, game of Frisbee where you're throwing the, thing. I can't catch it. I'm not a good throw. I can't imagine doing that with a disc trying to hit like a small basket.
It's so impressive. Yeah.
A lot of times that you can't even see.
Right.
Like you gotta look at like the course diagram and figure out, okay, so I've got to throw
Throw
here.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard enough. Like I don't golf either. And
Right.
I've made that known on the show quite a few times, but I'm just not, I guess I'm not coordinated enough for that. But I have watched, some of these guys that do it. And, we've had people come from all over when we've done ours outside of our area that, they just find different, disc golf tournaments to
Right.
play in and they come and play. And they're very intense about their disc golf.
Very.
And I applaud them for that because I just don't get it.
Yeah.
But
And then, when we did the golf tournament, I think last year, I never realized that like there are so many different discs that they use
Right.
for different
Yeah.
occasions and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of mind boggling. And some of those discs aren't cheap either.
no,
So
no. So if you're listening in, how like if you're playing golf, you have your putter, you have your wedge, you have your, your 9-iron,
Yep.
you have your, all those things. And see, I know a little bit about golf,
Right.
but it's kind of the same with disc golf. They have certain discs that do different functions depending on how far they are from the basket or, where they're playing from. And
Exactly.
yeah, like Mike said, I was very unaware of that until last year, and people are digging through the boxes of discs going, oh, I'm going to get this one and I need a new this one, and stuff like that. And I'm just sitting there like, that's pretty. It's sparkly and pink.
Right.
Like I like it.
They
I
are
like
colorful and fun.
I like the
Yeah.
colors.
We've got some glow in the dark ones too. I'm very
Mhm.
excited about that.
That's
That's just fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with the disc golf, how much is that for the different whether you're playing single or if you're playing like double?
So if you're playing singles, it's $25 and then doubles are $40.
Okay.
Yep.
Very cool.
And again, open to, if you're super experienced, that's great. But if you know nothing, that's also fine.
Yeah. Well, and
No
I don't
pressure.
know, with the World Championships of Disc Golf being in town this weekend, does that start Saturday or does it start Friday?
I think it started either yesterday or today
already started?
and goes through the weekend.
Wow.
Don't quote me on that though.
And I know they're expecting like thousands of people.
Yes. I
here.
think I heard 15,000 was the number.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
15 or 16. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's craziness. But yeah, so if you're out there and you're not like, oh, I can't be a part of this tour,
Right.
definitely come. If you're like, I would say like even for me, like amateur status, like just coming out there and having a good time
Exactly.
and supporting a good cause versus, being on this actual like PGA or it's not PGA because that's golf, but
Right.
I don't know what it is for disc golf. But anyway,
PDGA.
PDG.
PDGA.
That
I
sounds
think.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Professional.
Woody's
disc
laughing
golf.
over there because Woody probably knows and he's just laughing at me.
I don't. I just want to see how many y'all are going to throw out.
Well, I will just throw out everything. So
And something
yeah.
I'll add too, we're just for the community aspect of it, even if someone doesn't want to play, we're going to have food trucks there that night. And we've got volunteers setting up like kid-friendly activities like games, face painting,
Mhm.
that kind of thing, just for families to even just come hang out at the park that night.
Awesome. We'll have to get Laura
The
to take
weather's
Woody
beautiful.
for the kid-friendly things because he's a kid at heart.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds like fun.
Well, I also wanted to ask, you guys are a nonprofit. So outside of attending events and helping, that way, what are like some of the needs that, you guys have that people can, whether it's their time or like if
Sure.
you're looking for donations, what are some ways people can help out?
Absolutely. So we've got different types of volunteers. Some volunteers we call caregivers, and those are volunteers who go through training, get background checked, and they can be in the house with children. When children arrive, we call in those volunteers. Some people don't want to do that, and that is totally fine. And so we've got different like hands-on volunteer opportunities. Like it may be helping keep the house clean, or especially when the weather is warm, a big one right now is yard work and weeding, and people who know how to garden, not me. Don't know how to keep anything alive, but people who are gifted in those sorts
you
of
and I
ways.
might be best friends. I do the same thing.
It's rough. So there's, volunteer opportunities like that. And then we have some groups who will just come together and maybe do a donation drive for us, or may do some type of like financial offering, that their group collects. So there's really, I feel like, a whole variety of ways that people can get connected.
So I had an idea. Mike loves it when I have ideas.
Thank you for joining us for the show today. That concludes our show. No, go ahead.
So I had an idea. So I was looking on your website and I saw where some of the needs that you had on there very specifically were pajamas for men and women and like teens and things like, but y'all want them to be new, not used, new pajamas. So we've been talking about doing for our 120 year, like doing like a kind of party type thing. I think it would be
do a pajama party.
Yes.
Bring the pajamas instead of
Yes.
wearing the pajamas.
Yes.
I
think that would be
sounds
so
fun.
much fun. And like we do like our ribbon cutting for that, but ask people to attend our pajama party,
That
and
would be awesome.
bring pajamas that evening. We can do like an evening one, like an after hours sort of styled event.
Cool.
That's my thoughts.
That sounds awesome.
I throw ideas out there and just do them. We're just going to do a pajama party now. That would be so much fun.
That would be a lot
That's
of fun.
good.
And I mean, yes.
What do you expect you to bring some pajamas? But I mean, I'm thinking because it'd be good to do that in September, because you got to think, I mean, not that people don't wear pajamas year round, but like it's becoming winter and like warm pajamas and like things for kids. You're always looking for coats and they do the coat drives, but like this would be really cool to have like a pajama drive for the kiddos when the cold weather's coming in.
That'd be cool.
I just thought that was fun. That's my idea.
Thank you.
So I thought
That
it was
sounds
cool.
awesome.
But yeah, that I think people should definitely go on their website, because there is a list. Like I said, I just pulled it up so you can see what some of their needs are and learn more about them.
Yes.
I think it's just wonderful what you guys are doing in the community.
And people can always connect with us over email too, because sometimes specific needs will pop up. Like some things we always need, right? But then other times it's like, oh my gosh, we ran out of this one thing. And we're also, as long as there are no kids in the house, we're always open for tours and things like that. If people reach out, we can schedule times for people to come get to see the house and
if you want
to have eyes on what we do.
If you want to volunteer and donate and things like that, and you want to see kind of how it works and see behind the curtain, so to
Exactly.
speak, go check it out. So
Where are y'all allowed to tell where the house is located? Or
we do privately, but not publicly.
okay, that's what I was thinking. I figured that's what y'all did, kind of like the domestic violence houses.
I'll spoil the secret. It's in Lynchburg.
Oh,
There you go.
That's the most information we'll give.
perfect.
So
Awesome.
kind of lets people know where it is. So it's not Bedford. It's not Campbell County.
That's true. Yeah.
It's Lynchburg.
Lynchburg.
Okay. Very cool.
So, alrighty. So there's two questions that we ask every guest that come on. One is, how long has Isaiah 117 been part of the Central Virginia Business Coalition?
Sure. It has been, I want to say like a month and a half. We
Yeah.
joined over the summer.
Awesome.
Might be right at 2. I think we
okay.
might be getting closer to
Okay.
2 months, but
We'll say
yeah,
2.
it's
Couple months. That's
Yeah.
what we're going to say.
So what do you think? I know that you haven't been a member long, but what do you think is the great benefits of being part of the CVABC?
Good question. I would say just the different connections, like really looking forward to Centerfest and being a part of that, the community giving fair, even getting to come on this, like the billboards, just all of those, I don't know, perks, I guess maybe is what you call them.
Yeah.
We're just grateful because like you guys were mentioning, there's not always, room in the budget for all sorts of things, but
Right.
we get to be a part of this community and also have those added.
soon. It's going to be the
benefits.
pajama party.
And yeah.
Yeah.
That's my final answer, the pajama party.
The pajama party. The event person for CVABC may have texted me about your idea.
She is not listening.
Yes, she is. That's all I'm going to say.
Autumn is not listening.
I'm listening, and I heard her say, "I have an idea."
Okay,
That's what the last text says.
that's funny.
I'm not sure I can read the others out loud.
She loves me. She
Yeah.
wants to do all my ideas.
Oh, she said she texted you too. So if you
Oh,
want to
hold on.
there you go. So
I have to. Now I got to look.
yeah, so we're gonna have Autumn's pajama party, and
Sponsored by Autumn.
sponsored by Autumn. And as soon
She
as she
did
has all
too.
those details worked out for that event, we'll let you know.
She said no more events. I'm listening to the podcast. I'm going to plan an event every month. Okay, cool. This is a very easy peasy event. So, but no, that's funny. Well, thank you so much. Oh, wait, did you? Yeah, you did. Thank you so much for coming on the show with us and letting us be able to, let people know more about, what you guys do and how they can help. And, again, reach out, to Samantha, website, email, all the things.
Yes.
And, just get involved. Get involved with their local nonprofits, and because they really do need your support right now.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
We're going to cut to a quick commercial, and we'll be right back to chat with Woody. So, stay tuned in. Oh, look, he cut me off because he doesn't want me
America's
to.
Choice in Home Care is now serving Lynchburg and the surrounding counties from their new location at 2201 Lincoln Road, providing our community with personal care services, including assistance with bathing, dressing, meal preparation, grocery shopping, light housekeeping, and much more. Our trained staff have to pass all of our requirements for a high standard of care, ensuring that you have a compassionate, kind, and qualified caregiver. Our office team works with you as a partner in providing care for you or your family member to make the task of starting and continuing care an easier process. At Visiting Angels, we understand that every individual is different. That's why our team of dedicated caregivers is committed to providing tailored assistance to make you happier and healthier at home. Call 434-439-4698 to learn more about our services and schedule a free in-home, no-obligation consultation. Trust Visiting Angels in Lynchburg to bring peace of mind to you and your loved ones.
Visiting Angels, America's Choice in Home Care.
Welcome back. And if you like that commercial, I'm losing my voice here. If you like that commercial and you thought, hey, that'd be a great way to promote my business, you can actually do that for just, what is it, $100 a month?
Yeah.
Which means, less, $25 or less a week. You can have your commercial there. Well, you can either have it host read or for a little extra, you can come and do it yourself, things like that. So we'll even help you write the script if you want. You just got to contact us. Contact Heather. Don't contact me at heather@cvabc.org and say podcast ad. I want to do one. So you can do it for just a month and that's fine and see how it goes. And
yeah,
it does pretty well. So,
yep. Sounds good. Definitely an opportunity to get your name out there.
Yeah.
So we kind of thought the second half of the show today, we had a guest, but he got sick. So we hope he gets better.
Yeah.
But we just thought we'd kind of chat a little bit about, we've done this in the past, but you guys kind of tune in and listen to us each week. And, we banter back and forth about different things, but I thought it'd be kind of good to kind of just talk about ourselves, let people know a little bit more about who we are.
Yeah.
And, why we're doing what we're doing, and then talk with Woody as well about just the new things he has going on here at the studio. Because, Woody has been lately, he hasn't been behind the mic, but we got him back today. So we thought, hey, let's take advantage of
Emma's
that.
back in school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We were going to have to try and convince him to come and talk and be on the air. And it wasn't that hard because he's sitting right by the microphone.
There we go.
He's captive audience.
I didn't have far to go.
Right.
I didn't have any excuses. I was like, yep, you know what? You got me. I'm right here.
Yeah. So
plus, it's an honor to talk to you all. So
it is. I can't deny you
that's
that.
right.
So let me ask you a question, Woody. So we have a lot of names that we throw around here. We have Grove Street
Yeah.
FM.
Yep.
We have Media Squatch.
Yep.
Podcast Network.
Mm-hmm.
What is the difference between those, and how do we know what is what?
I will say this. In the beginning, I was not very organized in my structure for promoting, right?
Right.
When you start hobbies that eventually come businesses,
Right.
It's very difficult. Like when you start it, you never think that like, oh yeah, this is going to actually do something, right? Like you
Right.
just have fun. And then all of a sudden you start making money at it and it's like, oh, okay. So, I got jumbled up in the beginning, but now everything is basically under Media Squatch.
Right.
And it's helping me organize marketing, creativity, in the productions that I do on the side, all my kind of personal stuff, everything kind of just goes under Media Squatch. Now, Grove Street FM is a good example of how something that started as an experiment and kind of took on a life of its own.
Right.
It's its own little thing. So the way that I kind of put it out there is that Media Squatch does everything. We produce, we market, we handle all of that stuff. And Grove Street FM is basically like the Hulu, the streaming platform for the local podcast, and not just for us. See, that's the thing that I really like the community to know, that I have people that email me local podcasts that they do from their house that we do not produce, that we put in there. It's really just a local streaming platform that we want available for the community.
Right. And it's and I love, if you've ever been a guest on and you've seen the TV in the lobby, like today we saw there was a cartoon rolling.
Yes.
That was a mini Squatch cartoon. And I've seen a couple of those online, and I'll let you know I watch every single one of those, because I'm like,
thank you. That means it really means a lot. And I genuinely mean that, because when you create something and somebody actually watches it,
right.
It's nice. It's like, it's flat.
Yeah. And when there was an update for the Grove Street FM app, like you did a TikTok, and I think I was like the first person to see it or something. Like you posted it, and I'm like, hey, there it is. Look at that.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So it's a lot of good content that goes out there. And now you've got the media wrangler. Is that what you call her?
The content wrangler.
Content wrangler.
Yes. And that honestly, that just kind of worked out, because I had a Jeep Wrangler that I was on the verge. I was going to sell it. I'm not going to lie. I was like, man, I don't need it. Like, I got my Gladiator. But I was like, wait a second. That's a good name for a person that wrangles content.
Right.
So yeah, there you go.
And she was at Boone Tractor in like West Virginia yesterday.
Oh,
or day
God,
before.
yeah. She's been busy the last 2-3 weeks. She was in Lewisburg for the West Virginia State Fair, and then the Franklin County Fair. And she is everywhere, run up down the road. So I mean, really, like, that has been a huge blessing and a great job. Like, I mean, she just does a wonderful job of going to events. I think she's got some more coffee talks lined up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she makes some great content too.
Yeah,
So.
a wonderful asset. So yeah, but that's the way the world is now. Like, marketing kind of just involves making tons of content for our clients.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to showcase all that our clients do in consumable form now.
Yeah, and you've got to adapt your business to where people will see you. So, I spend like 22 hours a day on TikTok. So, like, if you want to reach me, that's, I'm going to see you on there. So.
Well, that's no joke. We used to, years ago when I first started, I could make the typical video length was probably 3 to 5 minutes. Right? You would do a 3 to 5 minute video, really nice, pretty, cinematic, and then you would put it on Facebook, and everybody would watch it and be like, "Oh, I saw the beautiful." Fast forward now, I mean, you might have 20 seconds. Right. And the whole landscape of video production, at least for myself, has changed. Mm-hmm. And I kind of like this format. Like, I really like the quick, like, I like getting content, churning it out. Right. The long projects, my attention doesn't stay with it, but that's just the way it is now. And I think that people consume, and they have to see stuff over and over and over again. And that's what we have adapted to that, or are in the process of adapting that way, so that we can, for our clients, because there's just so much going on. Heather, you know this. You have so much going on. Like, there's like, you literally would be taking photos and videos all the time.
Right.
And so that's, as part of what we do for our clients, we want that. We want to have an asset where, hey, listen, we're just going to gather content. Y'all do y'all's thing. We're here, there, everywhere.
Well, that's kind of like, for me, I as some of you guys know, and I've talked about it on the show before, I love all things Disney. I do Disney a lot. And so I love going on, like, I'll go on TikTok or my Facebook reels and just look at different, like you said, 20, 30 second little clips. Yep. But what that also leads me to do sometimes is, like, I have my favorite kind of influencers or podcasters that I listen to. Mm-hmm. And so when I'm on that, like, that TikTok, and it leads me then to, like, their Instagram, or it leads me to whatever, then more times than not, I am either listening. I constantly am listening to Disney podcasts in my car. Yes. My husband cannot stand it.
I love it.
Especially if I'm heading to, like, if it's coming up to a trip, I'm constantly on
I didn't realize there were so many Disney podcasts.
There are so many. And I have like 5 that are my favorite that I listen to.
Can I derail you? What's your favorite?
My favorite is Addicted to the Mouse.
Okay.
I also love the Happiest Podcast on Earth.
Yes.
I also listen to the Main Street Dish. That's my foodie guide podcast. And then there's another one called Minnie and the Mouse, and I'm trying to think of the fourth one, but those top 4 are my top 4.
Thank
is
you.
Is there one called It's a Podcast After All? Like, It's a Small World?
No, but that would be fun.
I'm going to start that one. Idea, Mike. I'm just going to make it up.
That's actually really good.
But those are my top 4 that I listen to in my vehicle. But then I also have my top, like, 4 or 5 influencers that I will watch their YouTube channel consistently.
Yes.
Like I have it where that notification, but like it pops up like Molly with the Mammoth Club.
Yeah.
She's my favorite.
Actually know who she is.
If she, do you know who that is?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So when Molly pops up, like I'm constantly watching Molly. I am constantly watching Paging Mr. Morrow,
Yeah.
who I got to meet in person at Disney last time I was
That's
there.
awesome.
He was paging and I fangirled and ran over there. I was like, I need to take a picture, and I did.
But isn't that funny though? How like you are consuming content in a different way now. Think about 5 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Like you would look up the random YouTube video, right? If you
Right.
need to know something, but
Right.
like the whole landscape of how messaging and platforms has
Yeah.
it's completely changed.
Well, like 5 years ago, I was going and buying the books, like How to Do Disney and
Yeah.
like,
Right.
you know, the Disney World books that you're
Right.
like combing through. And now it's just as easy as like, oh, let me watch what this person said and did. And it helps me kind of make my decisions on like, oh, am I going to dine there if it's really horrible? Or,
Yeah.
Right.
you know, if I know this is going to happen at the, you know, the Christmas party, then I should do this. And yeah. So I know people laugh about, you hear people talk about influencers and like, oh, you know, go get a job. They're doing a,
Oh yeah.
They're doing
That's
their
a
job.
lot of work to
it's-
produce that.
yeah.
And so one of the biggest changes, what are you talking about the last 5 years? One of the biggest changes is like anybody with a cell phone can put
Yep.
content out there.
Yep.
And you never know when it's going to go and take off. And, you know, a lot more information gets out. And if somebody has, you know, a Disney tip that they know or something that they've experienced at the park, they're able to share that out. And they don't have to go through, you know, I mean, they literally have a platform that they can
Mm-hmm.
broadcast to. They don't have to, you know, try to figure out like, well, should I write a book about this? Or, you know, there's a lot more avenues to do it quickly.
Well, all of the tools are in the hands of the creators now.
Right.
Like you just there's no excuse. It's just like that. Like we just the content room, right? We got our brand new phone and gimbal, and go have fun, go at it, right? Like it just get content,
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what it is now. Before, I mean, I would have to reinvest in. I mean, God, the camera alone was like I have a $5,000 camera out there, right? You don't need that anymore. I don't
Right.
even use it. Like it's
Right.
like nowadays, it's just something. It's so different, and it's so you have to evolve. And like you guys, I just checked you. This is the 173rd episode of your
Wow.
podcast.
I feel like we
Awesome.
just did the 100th episode.
Right?
Right.
I didn't even think
That
about
was the
like,
last one we had food on, and I was
Yeah.
Like think about that. Like y'all are content creators. You
Yeah.
produce content every week. Like I mean, and on social media other ways, but I mean, like this is like a huge, you know, avenue for that. And just think, rewind years ago at the process and how it's. I love it. I love it. It's also I feel bad for some businesses because it can be very, very daunting and they don't know where to start.
Right.
So, but that's
Yeah.
why it's such a blessing to have organizations like yours, where you have people on. And they can kind of get their feet wet and they talk and they have their play, you know, so it's really a win-win.
well,
And
I feel like a lot of shows have actually started here from coming on the podcast. We've had quite a few.
Gosh, yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
you got Love and Lace. You've got the Melody.
Yeah,
Yes.
Melody just started the
The
Bauer
local
Center.
ag.
The
Yep,
Ag,
yep.
The Bauer Center has one now,
Bauer Center.
which I mean, they've been on our show. They've been on a few shows, but yeah.
What was your first podcast here, Woody? You're
The
terrible at Jeopardy questions, but
The very first one, I believe it was Life, Liberty, Happiness.
that's what I thought.
Yeah,
And then,
we started that, and then Brandon Brown was Cool Talk, and then Heather, you were on his,
Yes.
and then you started,
Yep.
and then really, y'all, that's the OG crew.
That's
Right.
it. Right. You know, and, you know, speaking of, you know, content, being content creators, that's something I've been wanting to do for a while. Mike actually brought it up about
Yeah, I
a
want a
week or
TikTok
two ago.
channel.
So we're actually, I think, going to start a Talk Local to Me TikTok channel. And it's going to be really cool because we're going to, you know, that's going to be something where we're actually going out in the field and talking local to business, where we're kind of doing these, you know, maybe 30 to 60-second clips of, hey, here we are today with so-and-so, and just scanning their place of business and maybe doing a quick, like, hey, who are you? Or what, you know, small interview, but being able to shove out a lot of content about small local businesses that kind of tie to the show too.
Well,
And so I think that'd be awesome.
The funny part about that, all right, so a prime example of that is the past couple of weeks. I literally have eaten and gone shopping at a handful of places because of TikToks I saw. Like that's no joke. Like somebody would pop up, oh, this dish is here, right? Oh, they've got this new pumpkin spice thing or whatever, or they've got this decoration at the Dollar Tree, whatever. It's because somebody posted a TikTok. So it's like that was a direct like cause for my habit like that. Like after watching it, I was like, oh, I really want to go eat here. Let's go eat here because I saw this on TikTok.
right.
I mean, you see commercials all the time, like,
Yeah.
but yet, like, you see a video and it's like, oh, I want to go do that. But yet you spend all this money on a commercial and it's like you see it on TV, like, whatever.
Yeah.
But
So what's really funny is, so since you mentioned about the commercial and seeing them, so Visiting Angels is a national corporation.
Yes.
So they have commercials all across the United States. Great commercials, not as good as the one that aired on our podcast here.
that's true.
But they do TV commercials and things like that. And I'll have people like, oh, Visiting Angels, I've never heard of that. I'll see them a week later and they're like, I've seen a commercial for Visiting Angels like every single day.
Yes.
Right. Once you're aware of it, it's kind of like when you buy a car and you never see that kind of car when you're driving, but as soon as you buy one, you see it.
Oh, everybody
everywhere.
has one then.
Right.
Everybody has a Jeep now.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
But it's so you're actually, that is true. I have seen Visiting Angels commercials more and more.
Yeah.
But it is funny because we were watching something and then it popped up like, oh, it's like some food somewhere around here. And I was like, I really want to go do that. And that was more effective than a commercial to me. And so that's why, Heather, that's a great idea
Yeah.
of showcasing businesses, because somebody said something the other day that like, we're Bedford's best kept secret and we hate it. Like, you really don't want to be, not us, like they were talking about their business.
Right.
And I was like, you're absolutely right. You don't want to be the best kept secret. And that's what a great way now of just utilizing all these platforms.
I think for us, that would be a great, just a new thing to add to the CVABC benefits, where,
Right.
As a small business, we can come out and do something that might potentially drive traffic, to your business. And since a lot of our businesses are small and local, it's easy to kind of do that. It's easy to kind of drop in and just be like, hey, I'm just going to do a quick scan and maybe, like you said, stop by a coffee shop. So I'll tell you, Lynchburg Coffee Company out in Russburg.
I've heard a lot about them.
Oh, Mary Beth and her husband have done a great job there. So they now they have like a mobile, like a kind of like a Joe Beans looking type trailer. Like you go through and it's a drive-through trailer. And I hadn't been out there in a while, but I had a meeting out in Russburg yesterday, so I drove through and they had a new it was a butterscotch latte.
So like butterbeer?
Kind of.
Is that
but
what?
I'm just gonna say,
Yo.
I may drive back to Russburg. Like, it was delicious.
Worth
Gotcha.
the trip, right?
Yeah.
It really was. And but I think it's things like that, like you were saying, Woody, if I were to post like, hey, I had this today, it is amazing. Once you build that followers and that base, people start going, oh, maybe I should go check that out. And
That's where it's at.
Yeah.
That's what people are influencing. You and y'all, good example, y'all influence more than what you think you do, because people listen to this and it's actual genuine content, just like on TikTok and from your friends and all that stuff. You're not being told from like media and like all these overly produced things. It's genuine information. That's
Right.
why people react different to it. It's not overly produced, targeted at my weakness and my pocket, right? Like, you're like, look, I just had this latte. It's delicious. You should get one. Like, I
Yeah.
take that, or whatever you see on this podcast, like I take that more to heart than I would, 1,000 commercials that you see all the time. Well, sure, it's good for information, but like
Right.
the genuine reaction.
Right. And I think one of the reasons this podcast works so well is because we don't come in with a bunch of questions already ready. Now, we have some guests who come on and they are really nervous and they'll give us some questions, things like that. And some who are really nervous and don't have questions. They're like, I have no idea what we're going to talk about. Those turn into like some of the best guests, I think. So,
Yes.
I think the thing that makes this podcast unique and makes it so great, if I can wag my own tail for a second, is we are genuinely curious to learn what these businesses do. And so we're asking real questions that we have. And we even have a couple of people that text in and say, hey, ask this, right? So we get a little feedback there as well. And it's, because we genuinely want to know, what do they do and how do they do it? What are some of their struggles? Because I can't tell you how many times I've interviewed somebody on this podcast and they say, well, we do this because it really works for our business. I go back and implement that and it helps my business. So it's great. And I joke that it's kind of a cheat code because I get to learn about all these businesses because I'm sitting here talking to them. I don't have to remember to listen to the podcast live, right?
Yeah.
So
It's a good networking without networking.
It is.
People,
Yeah.
I listen, and the one thing I will say, Bedford, no one can complain that there's not anything to do. Like the amount of podcasts that we do and the different things that each one has, and y'all alone, like it is amazing that people have time to even sleep in this small town because of everything happening. Like, and God, y'all alone, like Centerfest, this, that, ribbon
Right.
cuttings, it's like, good Lord. But I mean, how else are people supposed to know
Yeah.
what you're doing other than you share it? Like, you got to share it.
Right.
And I know it's, so for me, I am not what I would say, I'm not very like social media savvy. You know, I can post on Facebook. I'm learning a little bit more on how to do the TikTok because that's what I really want to kind of push us towards, or like reels on Facebook. But I know it can be scary, but that's why it's good to have businesses like Woody's that can potentially help us out or show me how to do the things. Now, Autumn, our events person, she's pretty good at that sort of thing. So I know like she can show me too. And I've dabbled. I've done a few, but I still have a lot to learn. But the thing about it is like you do have to at some point kind of go with the new trend, because you know you're gonna be left behind, and you can. And nowadays, I mean, yeah, you can post on Facebook, but in the reality, people actually seeing what you post because of the algorithms, it's kind of slim with some things.
Let me tell you, if you tag me as a follower every single day, I'm going to start ignoring that notification.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I don't look at it.
That is great advice. And that you have to, like, I try to tell businesses that people, one, you have the algorithm working against you, and two, you have people's attention spans. And it's just the type of content people want. Like, how do you respond? Again, we said you respond to genuine information. Like, I had this butterscotch latte. It's worth the drive, right? That goes so much further. And that's why it's so important for people's social media. It's just got to be kind of organic. Right. You've got to get that information out there, because I usually track every URL I put in a post, so I can track engagement. Yeah, sure, Facebook gives you numbers, but you want a couple of layers, right?
Right.
And you would be shocked at how little actually people engage with what you put out there. Like, it's not depressing, but I'm going to say, like, you think you're reaching everybody, you're not. And that's why you got to beat the drum. You've got to be on the shows. You've got to be on every platform, because it's so quick.
Now, let me ask you, when you do like the TikTok channel, like, so let's say we started Talk Local to Me.
Right.
Building followers through that. I mean, I know you just follow people and they follow you back. But I mean, that's something where, like, if I'm sharing that on our CBABC page, then we're going to be gaining more people, because you just keep asking people to share it and follow and things like that. So that's, I think, the biggest thing for me is trying to figure out how to build up those people that are following.
In my opinion, which everybody's got a different one about social media, especially with you just got to create genuine content.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. I think that's the key. I think sure, you can sponsor stuff and hopefully get followers, but I can tell you there's two different types of following base. It's you can buy the followers, or you can sponsor it, or you can get that slow build growth that is engaged. And that is what this podcast and other local podcasts we do are prime examples of that. You can have 100 engaged listeners on this podcast that are worth more than 1,000 that are in passing watching TV or listening to over the air radio stations that are just have it on. So, like, the handful that you have listening that have you in their ears, they subscribed, they wait for your episode, are worth gold compared to the other ones that you encounter. So that's why when you go at it, you really want to showcase what you're doing, and you want it to be genuine, because you might only get a handful of followers at first. Like, that's just the reality. But those are there for you. They're there for your content. They're there because they want to learn. They're not there because you bought them, they're sponsored, or whatever. So content, like, just get genuine content. That's the key.
Yeah, and the thing is, so I get a lot of people that come up on my like For You page on TikTok, things like that.
Yes.
And I'll go to their profile because I was like, that was funny. Let me see what else they have that, like, see if they're entertaining enough to follow, whatever. And I'll click over, and it's like 35 videos down, and it was 8 months ago that they posted that video that I just saw.
Yeah.
So the secret to success on TikTok is you do genuine, entertaining content, and you add that. You multiply that by time. So it takes time to get it out there and things like that. And if you have enough content and it's good content, somebody's going to see it one day, and they may go through and, they may repost it, or, that's what they call it on TikTok, right? Yeah. Repost, things like that. So, it just takes time to do it. You can't concentrate on, I want to get so many followers. You've got to go, I'm just going to put out decent content.
Yes.
And when people find me, they're going to like me.
You got to do it for that. You got to do it to educate, and then hopefully people respond. And that's honestly one reason. Now, listen, we don't have a ton of followers on our pages. Like, that's obvious. But I saw a trend with our postings. I would post mostly graphics and stuff, and just nobody I mean, you got to do it sometimes to get information out, obviously. Yes.
Right.
But I noticed that when we do a reel or TikTok, if you have a face in it, like with Caitlin, our content wrangler, or putting myself in it, as uncomfortable as that is, that you get more engagement. Like you get the engagement that like you get people commenting, you get it. Now I can make a slick graphic ad all day. Zero, nothing. Right. But you do something about like, hey, update here or whatever. And you're talking genuine to them. That has more legs than just bombarding people, because people are bombarded with ads and I know, because I do them and I make them, I insert like I know it.
Speaking of ads and commercials, I see the one for Brown Seating and Air
that's to let him know which
multiple times a day.
Which we've got a couple of us. Can you remember which one?
It's the one. Oh shoot! There's the one where they're in the living room. I'm trying to think. It's
the
like
animated one, right?
Oh yeah, it's definitely the animated ones.
Isn't that funny?
I see him. Yeah, I see it every day on. I think it's definitely on. I think it's Laugh Network that I'm watching most of the time. I don't remember. But
so you're on. So that's streaming. So what? Yeah. And so, that's a streaming platform we do for our clients when we buy media. That's where people are watching TV now.
Every day.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Without fail, I see it in the evening.
And that's a good thing you said right there. And like Mike, when people come up to you and say, hey, I saw the commercial,
right,
that means something,
right?
And when you said you saw, like, so as a business, y'all out there, if you see a commercial and it literally made you do something, please let them know, because people like me too, that's how we get contracts. That's how we keep paid. Like, hey, I saw the commercial, and then it lets the business owner know, oh, well, my money's not all wasted. Like, so
right.
It really is. That's awesome. That's so cool. You've seen it.
Yeah, and it's so hard to track. Like, so you've got all sorts of different advertising. You have like print, magazine. You have radio, podcast. You have online. You have the planes that pull the banner across the sky, skywriting, all that stuff.
Smoke
and to know where your customers are coming from is incredibly difficult, because when I ask every client when they come on, like, well, how did you hear about us? And they're like, I think somebody told me about it. I don't know. Right? And it's never I saw a commercial on TV.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's another highlight of how many platforms are out there now and screens that people are seeing. And it's like I'm a different type of agency in meetings, and sometimes I shoot myself in the foot, because listen, I can show you 100,000 impressions, right? Oh, you're getting this many impressions on this banner. You're getting this many impressions. At the end of the day, if people aren't talking to you about it, if they aren't responding by buying your product, or you don't hear about it, that the impressions don't matter.
Right.
They really don't. So I think that's why you need to be seen on every platform. That's why you do. You need to be a part of organizations that network and you can share. And because a person that starts a channel that is not networking, it will take them forever. But Heather, how many people have you seen in your own coffee talks walking around handing business cards out, and that you get a leg up on just being out in an island by yourself?
Oh, I mean, there's tons of people out there passing out their business cards and, trying to get their information.
Follow me on this. Follow me on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the thing too, I'll point out though, with, you're talking about impressions and things like that.
Yeah.
I think it's important to note, and I know we've said this before on the show, it's important to note that it's not going to happen the first time you run something. So don't think, oh, let me just put this ad up for a month and I'm going to have 100 people coming through my door.
Today. So my next thought was going to be, we do a lot of things with SEO and things like that on a national level with Visiting Angels, but we also are responsible for making sure we do that local level, things like that. And I just did a review with Visiting Angels of like our entire website. Like, they criticized everything that they didn't, that could be better. It wasn't necessarily bad. I got like a B+, right? So, but could be better. And one of the things that I hear consistently from people who do that kind of work is, you're not going to see instant results as soon as you put up an ad or you do some SEO, things like that. Usually it takes about 6 months to start seeing the results of any campaign that you do. And it doesn't mean that you have to do one campaign for 6 months. You just have to do things for 6 months, and people will start to realize, and it kind of gains momentum, because the first time somebody sees your commercial, it's not going to really register with them much. But the second time they see it, or the third time, like you say, you see Brandon's commercial like every day.
I do.
Now when you hear it on, it's just like my commercial in the middle. Like you sing along with it, right?
Yeah.
So it builds it into that memory, and so that when you go to think about, like, I need home care, who should I call? Wait, Visiting Angels, America's Choice Home Care.
But we talked about this earlier. Back in the day, you wanted to learn how to do something. You go to YouTube, you watch a how-to video, right? You search it. All right. Now look at even search engines they've taken a nosedive, in my opinion, for customers SEO and actually find, because now with AI, you can type in a question, right? And then it gives you answers to that question. You no longer even get to search people's websites now to collect or to lead down that networking hole. Like, plumbing repair in my area. Well, the plumbing, and it gives you an AI generated or sponsored ads. And then you may find organic things,
I think
all the way to the bottom of the page.
It's funny it does that on Facebook now too. Like if you search for something on Facebook,
I hate that.
And it's like this: the people are talking about this, and the commenters are saying this, and this, and I'm like, I don't care. I want to actually read.
It completely shoots our clients in the foot. Like, you spend all this time with SEO and building up content, and then now they have scrubbed that content and answer the question, and you're not even getting a lead that you could then hopefully convert to a customer.
Right.
You're not even getting it anymore. And so, you have clients that used to be top 3 SEO in the last 6 months. Google has just cut you off at the knees if you're not paying for sponsors. So again, that all leads back to, it's not all lost, but that's why it's important. You've got to be on all these platforms. You got to be where the people are. You got to be producing content. If you don't know how, you should contact somebody that does, but you got to be out there. And it used to be, you could make a commercial, put it on WSET, run it, and then tell them to stop because I got too much business.
Right.
Now it's not like that. Now you've got to be literally on 10 different platforms, running all the time, sponsoring here, running that, just to be present in someone's mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really, you don't really think about it until, we're sitting here talking about it, how many different places you really should be. I'm sitting here like, oh, I'm on Facebook. It's not good enough.
Right.
Think about how many screens you look at, like how many apps you open and look at, and you look in a day, or you listen to podcasts, you're looking on streaming TV, you're looking on Facebook, you're looking on TikTok, you're looking on Instagram. My God, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy how much we consume now.
Right.
And that businesses who, even small businesses, have got to even they've got to participate in this. Like, this is how you've got to get your name out. So,
right.
Yeah. Well, thank you for kind of joining us. I know we didn't really even, I know we said we were going to talk about who we are, but I feel like this was so much better. This was awesome. I love it.
Right? Yeah.
And I love when we do shows like this, because I feel like, it's great having guests on and we can talk to them about who they are. But then I love the shows where we can kind of dive deep into, just what businesses' needs are in the community and how they, can be helped by the potential businesses that we're bringing on, or things like that. So I love when we kind of go off script with these episodes like this. So hopefully, in the second half, maybe you've been listening and you're thinking to yourself, oh, I really need to look more into that. And so Woody, I'm sure, would love to chat with you.
We'll sit down and talk with you. And, even if you're not financially in a position to hire a marketing agency, I always like to think that at least we'll try to steer you in the right way or help how we can. And no one situation is a cookie cutter situation. So each business needs different help in different marketing ways. Like, you need help in one way, this business needs help in another way. So just never hesitate to ask. Like, hey, do y'all do this? What do you think about this? And it gets my wheels going. I'm glad to talk to you.
Well, make sure if you're listening today that you have downloaded the app, the Grove Street FM app, so that you are able to hear, some of this content, and you can also, look up, what's your website?
Mediasquatch.com.
Yeah. Mediasquatch.
We have all the podcasts. For people that don't want an app, don't listen. Again, we try every platform. We have all of them on there, all of them on the website.
And that's Squatch, like Sasquatch.
Squatch.
So make sure you got it. Media Squatch.
Squatch.
It's Benny the Sasquatch, right?
Benny Bigfoot.
Benny Bigfoot. That's awesome. So thanks for chiming in with us this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
all the good stuff. So with that, you can find out more information about the CBABC, our guest that we had today, Samantha with Isaiah 117, or even visiting angels and Media Squatch on the CBABC website, which is
cbabc.org. Have a great Wednesday, and we'll see you next week.